Good morning. Welcome to our Shotsuki service for the month of January. It's nice to have everyone here and there joining us for this service today. I think it's a refreshing feeling to be able to begin our annual cycle of our monthly memorial, the Shotsuki service. So I would like to introduce you to our chairpersons for today's service. Yes, back by popular demand, we have once again the Sloth family. Sadie, Mama Sho, and baby Tsuki are here to serve as our Shotsuki chairpersons for today. You might recall last month we had a different, not imposter family, but a different Sloth family, and that was because this Sloth family was so taken by our tradition of having the Shotsuki service and were sharing that with their neighbors, and so the neighbor family also wanted to participate. So they were here last month, and today we have back again our usual Sloth family serving as our chairpersons, and I think it's refreshing, rewarding that they are so taken by this tradition that they talk about it, they share it with their friends, they share it with their neighbors, and they are just so touched that we have such a tradition to be continue to be in appreciation and connection with the family members that we have lost, and to honor them in such a way. So I appreciate that they can value something that they have come to recognize as part of our Joro Shinshu tradition. So here they are again to help us along, and you see that they are wearing their masks and reminding us to continue to be safe and cautious in our current conditions. And they have their onenju on, and so they are ready for service. I'd like to go over our service order for today, and we will begin with the Hyobyakumon announcing the purpose of this gathering, our January Shotsuki service. This will be followed by the reading of the Shotsuki names, and at that time, please come up as you have prepared to do at your homes to come up and offer incense, Oshoko. After the reading of the names in our Oshoko, we will have the Sutra chanting. I'll go up on the altar to take my seat, and we will chant the Sambujo and the Amida Kyo, half the Amida Kyo, as we have become accustomed to. Nembutsu and Ekoku will complete the chanting portion of our service, and then I'll come back for our Dharma message. Okay, so with that, we will begin. Please join me in Gassho for the Hyobyakumon. Today, on this occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of January, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. Namo Kie Butsu, Namo Kie Ho, Namo Kie So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda. These are the Shotsuki names for the month of January. Please come up and Oshoko as the names are called. Akinaga, Kosuzu, Arai, Mariko, Ago, Matao, Date, Seitaro, Endo, Michio, Fuji, Aso, Fujikawa, Infant, Haruko, Fujishima, Shige, Fukuda, Kasuke, ごと、かずお、はまち、あらじいろ、はらまき、さぶろ、はしもと、いのきち、ひらい、やそじ、ひろつか、よしたろ、ほんだ、インフィント、パリアン、いけだ、ダーリン、いけがき、しま、いまずみ、しげとし、いまずみ、てつじろ、いし、インフィント、いわむら、よしこ、かるわき、インフィント、せいせん、かみじ、さくえい、かんだ、みつぎ、かと、ていじゅう、かんざき、せん、かわはら、インフィント、まさる、かわかみ、ももえ、きはら、とめきち、きくがわ、さだいち、きたしま、よしの、こが、とき、こまつ、ジェームズ、小松、慎太郎、公家、うつる、熊谷、正吉、熊本、清、黒木、鈴、コアン、和子、秀島、ルー、四牛、四十、松崎、スー、前田、ジェームズ、俊宗、前田、千太郎、丸山、初太郎、丸山、インフィン、サマンタ、松本、三重子、松本、庄司、松下、自由、宮崎、陳吉、森、久代、森川、フランク、森川、飯田、村越、慶太郎、内藤、Reverend Shou Zen、中井、Ronald S、中村、愛三郎、中村、インフィント、米尾、中野、インフィント、中野、春江、リリアン、中野、インフィント、三つお、中曽、次郎、中山、半出、根本、米、西田、筆、西田、宇一、野村、インフィント、静江、野村、友次郎、のりえ、友次郎、大型、木次郎、小川、鶴江、大家、ディック M、岡田、インフィント、アキラ、岡田、登る、パテル、良子、ライス、スージー、ロドリゲス、ベリーズ、遠藤、文子、斎藤、亀吉、佐藤、君子、関ヶ浜、インフィント、静子、柴田、小百合、新谷、晴美、新谷、和夫、末安、清野、菅、節子、菅谷、久子、杉山、松太郎、杉山、茂樹、高田、ふさじ、高木、町、高野、稲、竹島、インフィン、功、田村、辰野、立山、梅子、東、金蘭、土屋、インフィン、和夫、梅根、三子、和田、長蔵、山上、米一、トム、山本、清、山本、インフィン、吉代、山岡、吉子、山崎、米子、山下、喜太郎、矢野、寿郎、 Yokoyama Ralph, Yonekura Moyo. These are the Shotsuki names for the month of January. If there are additions or corrections, please notify the office. Now we have the Sutra chanting, Sambujo, Amida Kyo. Yata Suriyanda Gananda Ananda Ragora Tomonna Dai Binzuru Harada Karuda Imaka Kohina Akura Nuruda Yose To Shodai Deshi Byosho Bosa Makasa Monju Shiri Ojiya Ita Bosa Kenda Kadai Bosa Josho Jin Bosa Yonyo Zeto Shodai Bosa Kyushaku Dai Kannin To Muryo Shoten Dai Shuku Niji Bungo Choro Shari Ho Juze Sai Ho Kaju Manoku Undo Sekai no Wangoku Raku Go Tohu Bungo Amida Tongen Zai Seppo Shari Ho Ido Ga Komoi Kokuraku Go Kokushujo Mu Shuku Tanju Shoraku Komyo Kokuraku Shari Ho Kokura Kokudo Shichiju Ranju Shichiju Ramo Shichiju Goju Kaize Shiho Chuso Inyo Zeko Hi Kokumyo Wangoku Raku Shari Ho Kokura Kokudo Ushippo Chiyaku Doko Sui Juman Kochu Chitai Junni Konsha Fuji Chien Kaido Kongon Ruri Ari Gojo Uro Kaku Yakui Kongon Ruri Ari Shako Takushume no Nigon Chigishi Chichu Renge Danyo Sharin Shoshiki Shoko Shiki Yoko Shakushiki Shako Byakushiki Byakko Mimyo Koketsu Shari Ho Kokura Kokudo Shoju Nyoze Kudoku Shogon Tushari Ho Ibu Kokudo Tosa Tengaku Ogon Niji Tsuya Rokuji Niyu Mandara Ke Gokoku Shujo Joi Shotan Kaku Iye Koku Joshu Yoke Kuyota Ho Juma Tokubun Soku Ijiki Jigento Nongoku Bonjiki Kyogyo Shari Ho Gokura Kokudo Joju Yoze Kudoku Shogun Ushi Shari Ho Ikokujo Ushuju Kimyo Shashiki Shicho Byakko Kujaku Omu Shari Karyo Binga Kumyo Shicho Zeisho Shucho Toya Rokuji Suiwa Geon Koon Nencho Kokon Koriki Shichibo Daimon Nasho Domun Yoze Toho Godo Shujo Onze Onni Kaishin Nenbun Nenpo Nenso Shari Ho Nyomotsu Ishi Shojitsu Zesai Osho Shosho Shaga Hibu Kokudomi Sammakushu Shari Ho Gobu Kokudo Shomu Sammakudo Shimyo Kyo Jitsu Zeisho Shucho Kaize Ami Tabutsu Yokuryo Ho Onsenju Tenge Shosa Shari Ho Ibu Kokudo Fusuido Shoho Goju Gyu Ramo Suimi Myon Kinyo Hyakusenju Gakudo Chikusa Monze Onsha Kaiji Nenjo Nembutsu Nenpo Tenso Shishin Shari Ho Kobu Kokudo Joju Nyoze Kudoku Shogun Namanda Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning again, everyone. Very happy to be able to share in this first Shotsuki service, OKAGESAMA. You know, usually when we begin the year, we have the two services at the end of year service, Joya-e, and then the New Year's Day service, Shusho-e. And this year in particular, things align where we have 3 services in 3 consecutive days with the end of year, the new year. And then the Shotsuki service is the very next day. So 3 services in a row. In a recent discussion time, we were talking about the end of year service and hitting the Gassho 108 times, and someone described it as chasing out the evil spirits and welcoming in the good spirits as we begin the year. And that's really not how we're supposed to be thinking of it. That's more of a sense of superstition, isn't it? So we welcome everything. We welcome in wonderment all the infinite causes and conditions that come to touch our lives. Every day is a first day. And so when we hit the Gassho, we remind ourselves of our blind passions and 108 blind passions, and we still are able to receive all these things that happen to create our lives and maybe not necessarily deserved, but we receive all these conditions. And so this is what we are welcoming, okay? And it's nothing to do with evil spirits, but welcoming the amazing continuation, the opportunity to have this life. So OKAGESAMA, wonderful word. I think it's used in many different ways in Japanese language, and we can translate it as to live in the shadows of the efforts of others. And others, not just people, but other in general. Other, everything beyond myself. All of it is other. So we live in the shadow of all these other things, from people to things and conditions, all of it, all of it. And so this holds the Buddhist worldview that any instance is a result of countless causes and conditions allowing such a situation to become. Okay? So when we come to the Shotsuki service, we come to honor mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or someone connected who is close and dear that we have lost. But as we think of them, we are touched by so many memories, stories, encounters, adventures that come to mind. Not only that person, but all the conditions that played out and became a moment that stays as a memory. So this happens when we reflect upon the person we honor at our Shotsuki services. And as we do this, billions and billions of causes and conditions creating every single moment become part of this memory, okay? And we connect to not just the memory of that person, we connect to this infinite. We connect to Amida, not in memory, but in reality, right at this moment. And this is the mind of Shotsuki, and this is OKAGESAMA. So maybe other examples of how OKAGESAMA is used. If you're, for example, your son or daughter has found someone fitting to marry, and in Japanese, a parent might say, OKAGESAMA, very appreciative that such conditions have come into alignment for this to occur. Okay, maybe another example, your mother may be suffering from illness and recovering, and someone might ask, how is your mother? And in response, OKAGESAMA, and to convey that the conditions are improving, maybe the conditions of the illness are moving to improve. So if it were in English, how is your mother? I said, oh, she's improving, she's getting much better, and because of how the language is set up, mother becomes the subject and the center of the conversation. But in OKAGESAMA, we're talking about the conditions of the illness are improving due to so many conditions coming to be, continuing to become. So our mind of awareness is allowed to be. So we're not just talking about mom, we're talking about all these countless conditions. And so this mind becomes this mind. Another example, if your grandson graduates from high school or college, OKAGESAMA might be in response, and we're considering the endless teachers, authors of books, classmates, all these things every single day during the education from nursery school, kindergarten, all these different schools that had to happen and occur. And after all this progression, coming to graduate from high school or college or something like this. So not just saying, oh, John's graduating today, we're so proud, but there's an awareness of this infinite, acknowledgement of the conditions rather than giving or receiving credit and feeding the sense of self. So this is the sense of OKAGESAMA, right? And so sometimes it seems like we're lacking that as we speak in our normal everyday language, and as we come to understand the teachings and the value of Buddhism, maybe this comes back into our thoughts, in our minds, in our ways. Something in the Japanese language, they have this sense of OKAGESAMA that we may not always have. The farther we are removed from awareness and use of the Japanese language, we move away from this sense of OKAGESAMA. So Buddhism provides this degree of mindfulness and awareness. And so hopefully we each recognize and articulate the Buddhist perspective that is the essence of the Shotsuki and of all our services. This essence, this sense of recognizing beyond individual relationships and people, connected to all else. So as we move our temples into the future, move our teachings into the future, are we going to be able to keep these, or are they going to dissipate? What do you think? I think the Sloth family, our chairpersons for today, are a good model for us all. They think about it. They've been thinking about Shotsuki, and they talk about it with their friends and neighbor families, and they encourage us all. They encourage all of us to see the value and to appreciate this sense of Shotsuki, this sense of OKAGESAMA, and to be able to share this with each other and with others. And this is how we are going to be able to keep and maintain these very close, meaningful words and teachings that make our lives what they are today. And through this sense of Shotsuki and OKAGESAMA, will hopefully be able to continue. Okay. So thank you very much for being able to letting me share these thoughts today. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. So we look forward to this whole new year coming and to be able to share this time together. And it's always special to have these services where we gather to be able to share in the light of the Dharma and to listen to the teachings that are provided to us. So in setting up and preparing for the service, many people are involved, and we want to thank them all. People are involved to provide the flowers and the fruits for the altar setting here, the obokpan, rice offerings, and all of these things. For the video service, we have people who are working hard to video and edit and to provide the links that everyone is able to link on to our services. We thank our service chair people, Sloth family, again, for being here and to being part of the teachings and the teachers of our traditions. So thank you all again. I will now light the incense here, and you can do the same as you have set up to do in your homes to be able to come up and offer incense once again. So with this, we will conclude our Shotsuki service for today. Please join me with palms together in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.